Hi, I'm RH. How many joists can you cut out of a house before it falls down?
Hi there, I'm Matt Keene. Welcome to Creating a Future We Want. That was R.H. Wood. He insisted on making an appearance as I introduce this series, R.H. Wood Designs, where I'll talk about R.H.'s praxis for woodworking. Making things out of wood is probably more accurate way to describe what he does. I have no idea why, but for some reason, when I do woodworking stuff, I am RH Wood. And how did all this start? Well, yeah, I just want to introduce this series by saying like how this began and what I mean by working with wood, woodworking. In 2009, started the process of designing and building a home. I had moved into a home that's this site right here in 2006, and it was built in the 1920s. There were some problems with the foundation and asbestos, and otherwise it made it not feasible on a number of fronts to remodel the home for the family that my wife and I wanted to, start around that time. And so, new construction. Well, the home was full of flooring and joists and baseboards and window trim that was from trees that probably started growing, in many cases, before we signed the Declaration of Independence. That wood is probably from forests that no longer exist. The notion of an excavator coming and crunching it and putting it into a dumpster and putting it in a landfill, I could, no way. I had never done any woodworking, very little, a little bit of work with, saws and such, but yeah, so I just got the note, I had the notion, or RH rather, had the notion of let's save this wood. Well, when RH was in the house, cutting out the flooring and the joists and everything else, Sawzall, going to town, August. About everything had been cut out and working through the joists, like standing on the first floor, looking down through to the basement, and I'd cut out a bunch of joists. But then, for fun, gave a friend a call. Scott Bowles, amazing guy, helped me with all sorts of home renovation and construction stuff. Great ideas. Said, hey, Scott, how many joists can you cut out of a house before it falls down? And he said something like 8.3. Well, he wasn't far off. It was like 13. The 13th, as went through that joist, full 2-inch by 10-inch lumber, the house cracked in half. The back half of the house just dropped 2 inches and a big crack up the side of the house. So that's how many joints you can cut out of that house before it falls on your head. I walked out the front door and never came back in. So I've been making stuff since. Workshop has been the street, mainly learning how to do it. Folks are like, hey, how did you do this? How did you do that? And I am no woodworker, but I do my best. And, my best. Probably not. But, my answer is by doing it. And this series will be about RH's praxis for working with wood. This is some of the flooring and a random chunk of wood that I found in another construction site down the road. But this floor was laying down flat right here where I am, and labeled it all as I cut it out, and a few years later, put it back up as this whatever this is, fireplace maybe. It would burn great, huh? And so in this series, I'm going to talk about tools, the process, my sort of philosophy around work like this, and give little tours of each of the pieces. I'm Matt Keene.
And I'm RH.
We'll be seeing you later. Thanks for visiting Creating a Future We Want.